This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
This is your Will Somebody Please Make It Stop Leader Fan Radio Network.
Okay.
And KFAN.com. 1 minute and 52 seconds past the hour of 3 o'clock. Central Daylight Time. Welcome back. Midweek edition, Wednesday production of the Bumper to Bumper program on a gorgeous, crisp fall afternoon here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Is this our last week, by the way, of... we changed the clocks this weekend, don't we?
Yeah, and I didn't know that until about 3 hours ago.
Okay.
I heard it listening to
It's usually
something.
right after Halloween, and Halloween's Friday, right? The 31st is Friday.
Yep.
So this is the weekend. We go back to standard time, and we have the big debate this weekend about the doctors that come forward and say we should stay on standard time all year.
Yep.
Because each time we make this switch, like 100,000 people die as a result of it.
It's tough.
And it seems like a supreme sacrifice. I say, sorry. We're going to keep it the way it is.
Fall back.
I have no problem keeping it the way it is. Guardsy produces the show. My name is Dan Barreiro, former Inkstein Wretch, newspaper of the Twin Cities, and we are delighted that you are along for today's bumpy ride. Glenn Mason, 402, not in Fargo, but here, Guardsy tells me. And Pat Kessler is scheduled in studio as well at 5:30. He's going to be able to file a live report on what it was like to see the carnage up close and personal
right.
in Los Angeles, California. He was there as the +1 in the Beautiful People suite for the Vikings-Chargers debacle, correct?
He was. I don't know if he was in a suite. He may have been.
It sounds better.
Well, I was going to say his labrum is also ailing after patting all the Wilfs on the back for 2 straight days.
There's no question about that.
I'm sure that happened.
Yeah, that I have no doubt whatsoever that indeed took place. And I'm sure, how much eye rolling do you think there is when big shots are around Kessler these days? I mean, they may do a good job of hiding it from him, but
out of respect for Mrs. Kessler,
in part,
yes,
there's got to be a lot of eye rolling that goes, oh, here he comes again. Doesn't he have anything to do? Give him something to do, right? That's his problem. He's got too much free. There's only so many art history classes that you can.
Right.
What's the term for it? If you don't technically attend college,
like audit it.
Audit. That's the word. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so many of those you can audit. I think. I think he's run out of them. In fact,
he has.
We are, as I said, delighted you are along for today's production broadcast between now and I'll say 6:30 now, but it doesn't mean we're going till 6:30.
We usually
yesterday.
We find out about halfway through the show.
Eventually, we find out.
Well, we've been told it's just we double check. And then I think today's 6:30. Tomorrow it's like 5:45.
It is?
Yes.
You told me we were going deep. That's good. I'm not complaining.
We're usually out at 6, but because there's a wild
it's Thursday
game
tomorrow. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
So it's about 15 minutes early.
Viking, I should say Timberwolves on the fan tonight, or just the Timberwolves channel?
I was distracted because Kessler was in a suite.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Unbelievable.
He see how quickly he had to make sure you knew?
It wasn't him.
Oh, wasn't him?
No, it wasn't him. It was another source on the ground.
Ah, interesting.
Who was with the peasants.
Okay, good to know.
I would imagine. Although this individual, he can text me. He was probably in the suite, too.
Wolves, Lakers.
Tonight on the fan.
On the fan tonight. It's another late start.
It is.
This is the burden associated with being a national TV darling, right? We're in so many national games this year.
I know.
And there's national networks, who have coverage every day, basically. So that's the price you pay. Because I'm sure for a lot of people, it's not a real convenient start when it's 8:40.
It's not.
It can't be. It's a school night, the whole bit.
Especially.
But that's the case tonight.
In October.
Yeah.
We deal with it in April, and it's
correct.
Game 2 of the first round doubleheader in the playoffs. You kind of get the bit. To have 2 of your first 3 home games at 8:30, that's not great.
No, it's not ideal.
But we got to nut up.
We do.
We tell people to do that in the playoffs.
So no LeBron tonight. No lithesome Luka tonight. He's out as well, correct?
Yeah.
But then they got the new scorer what's his name?
Austin
Hillbilly
Reeves.
Kobe.
Yep.
Who's now getting used to score. What's going to happen when they come back is I'm wondering if the Hillbilly is going to say, I ain't staying here.
I'm the captain now.
I can score 50.
Yep.
We're happy for, LeBron, you're 90. And lift some Luka, I get it. You lost some weight. That's wonderful, but I can score. I got a handle. Give me the ball. Get out of my way. Who guards Hillbilly Kobe tonight? That's the question. Apparently nobody right now, according to Finchie.
Does Finchie have confidence in Jaden McDaniels to do it? That's the problem. He was down on him 2 nights ago.
He was, yeah. This is all part of, I think, a very orchestrated campaign.
I hope so.
More on that
hope
later.
It works.
Is there any chance that you can make it stop? Just end it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't. I'm worried.
Here's your headline. God, if I had $1 for every time this headline appeared, I'd be in Maui right now. The Athletic today. Wild felt they were a better team in 4-3 overtime loss to the Jets. When is somebody going to say to members of this organization, to players, nobody gives a rat's ass that you, I guess, not having anything else to say in the locker room, think we got the better of it? Stop saying it. Even if you believe it, keep it inside you. And then when after you've gone on like a 15-game unbeaten streak and you've established your bona fides, one of these seasons, dare I say postseason, people might accept it. But I heard it. This season, I bet you we've already heard that like 5 times. And the Wild are not the only hockey team that do it. Not the only sports franchise that does it, but it's annoying. It's obnoxious. And it doesn't matter. We lost in overtime 4-3, did we not? We turned the ball. Our best player turned the puck over in overtime, leading to one of the easiest overtime goals I've ever seen.
It was quick.
And the game was over at that point. How do you deserve better when you give up a goal that way? We've lost 7 of our last 8. I get it. Oh, points in back-to-back home games. But we've lost 7 of the last 8, including the first 3 of what was viewed after the 5-game road trip disaster, a pretty important early season 6-game homestand. There's no equity on this team to go with what hockey players have said generation after generation. Played better. Got the better of it. Now there's even, just as damaging, there's the new analytic, right? Well, it's relatively new. And this is basically really how many goals. Well, here it is. I'll read it. This is from the Joe Smith piece in The Athletic today. This contributes to the madness. The Wild held a 4.44 to 2.42 advantage in expected goals in all situations.
I love that.
Per something called natural stat trick. That's what it is. It's a trick. And it's not going to placate a fan base that with every game that goes by has every reason to tune out, even this early in the season, and to roll their eyes and say, man, stop talking about getting the better end of play. Because it doesn't count that way in the standings. And you're not a good enough, like I said, you're not a good enough team to fall back on that cliche and have anybody believe it. Is there a way, maybe I'll text Bill Guerin and I'll ask him if he would consider fining the next one of his players who uses that quote. Let's see who the quotes came from in this game afterwards. There were a couple, I believe. Jake Middleton said it was probably one of our more complete 60 minutes.
Midzy.
Brock Faber, I thought we were the better team. It's one of those things where we play that game 10 times over, we have a good chance of winning a lot of those games. I understand, and I can live with the cliches. We got to stay the course. We got to stay together. We can't panic. We got a lot of ground to make up, but we have to. we can't cave in now. Those I all would understand. Got the better of the action. Here's the fatal flaw regarding some of those analytics for me, especially in hockey. You can have a stretch in the game where you do seem to be sort of controlling the action, okay? But if in that stretch you don't score, it doesn't matter. And so the rest of the game becomes, you can't just isolate on those sections that serve your purpose of trying to take the pressure off. This team has only one way to take the pressure off. Win more games. That's what it's going to take. Maybe they're incapable of it. Hell, Laval, did you see the Laval headline?
I didn't.
Basically, maybe we need to take a long, hard look and change the expectations of the 2025-26.
It's not even Halloween,
Minnesota Wild, yeah. But maybe he's right. I mean, hell, by Monday, he'll probably write the same column about the Vikings after they get destroyed in Detroit. Because it'll be the same thing. Maybe we got to reconsider what the realistic goals are for 2025. It's possible. There may be a number of teams that fall, sadly, into that classification before this thing is done. But I can't believe, what have we said about hockey fans? They're defensive. They're fairly parochial. But I don't think they like being lied to. I think they take their hockey seriously. I think they take their own understanding of the game seriously. And often, they might well be the most knowledgeable fan base of any sport in this town. The people who are into it, right? I can't believe they like hearing this crap repeated over and over again. Because after a while, it's like we said with the Pelf scale. If over and over, the Mike Pelfrey bit that we started with the Pelf scale was the first time Mike Pelfrey, after a game, looked into the eyes of the Jackals and said, boys and girls, that loss is on me.
I wasn't good enough.
I was not good enough. I didn't give the team the number of innings and performance that it deserved. I'm raising my hand.
I'm better than that.
I'm going to take responsibility. I'm better than that. The problem with Pelfrey was, like, the sixth time he did that in, 2 months, you go, well, okay, this sounded good originally. It sounds like, hey, he's not blaming anybody else. He's not saying, well, as Scotty Erickson once did, the former Twins pitcher, once the ball leaves my hands, I have no control over what happens to it in terms of how it's hit. He didn't do any of that. He said, no, I'm not making good enough pitches. But at some point, that loses its impact if you have to keep doing it over and over and over again. People go, well, the words were nice the first, second, third time, but by the fourth time, it's like, you got to do something about it on the diamond from the mound. Same with this. It's if it hasn't fallen on deaf ears already, it should. Because it doesn't. Here's the other factor. We heard about this. What game was it on the road trip where Louis basically said the same thing? The Wild, well, they had one horrible game, and then they had one where we deserve better, right? And that may well have been on that occasion, but if you keep going down that road, it's almost like you're asking people to. So, do you remember the games? Are players just as brutally honest about? I'll be honest with you, they outplayed our ass, almost start to finish. We didn't deserve the victory. I don't think you hear that very much. Maybe you do and I've missed it. Then I might be willing to accept it. You know what people say in that position? Found a way to win.
Right.
Didn't have our best stuff, but found a way to win, right? We want to get patted on the back for that. We're not in those situations going, well, I can't believe we got 2 points in the standings for that? Is there any way we can petition that because we didn't deserve it? Nobody says that. Nobody should. Because in the end, you have to win. And I don't know anybody who's watching this team now says they're playing winning hockey or anything close to it. The goaltender has not been good. I don't care what anybody says. The stuff happening in front of them has not been good. And you can even, again, talk about injuries. I'm not even denying it, but just stop with we had, it's almost like, he did say it, Faber. So let's see. If we play that same game 10 games over, we would win 7 of them? What difference does that make? Right? You win or you play to win the game, don't you?
You do.
Occasionally to tie, and we did get a point again for the second straight game, but I didn't come out of that game feeling like they should be happy with that.
And they haven't shown...
We had a nice comeback after we got down early, and then we blow that lead, and then we lose it, like I said, instantaneously after we lost control of the puck in over OT.
And as I'm watching the first period last night, I'm thinking to myself, they're playing pretty well. They've got some jump. They've had a lot of good chances, and they're down 2-0. Right? It doesn't matter how well you're playing if you're down. And they got themselves back in it. And sure, moral victory point, whatever you want to call it. But the other issue is they haven't shown the ability to replicate the effort that Faber is talking about.
No,
right? When you say, if we do that 10 times, we're going to be on the right side of things. But that's been part of the problem this season, right? They haven't done that enough. And so you don't get rewarded maybe on the nights that you do bring it. But there have been too many nights where it's just been a debacle, home or road. That's the problem.
Well, I see. Here's an example. A 612 guy. Dan, did you watch the game? I watched every minute of the game. What's the point? Well, so what? I'll throw it back to 612 guy. Did you watch the game? Are you aroused by the idea that we're going to give ourselves extra juice for? Hey, this game they just had a disastrous road trip. And they've done nothing on this homestand so far. Who did we just lose to 2 nights ago in OT?
Sharks, right? 6-5?
Is that? Have I checked? Are the standings upside? Are they considered one of the best teams in hockey?
They're not.
So what are we doing? So you can't. You have to build equity to use, in my opinion, to utter that cliche and not get mocked for it. And we haven't. We haven't done any of that to this point. Now, if you want to say, well, if we think if we keep playing this style, we have a chance to get it going, I'll listen to that. But I'd rather also have with it. But if we have to find a way to win those games. That's what separates the great teams from the average and mediocre teams. That part just don't think that part changes. So, in any case, that's where we are. Let's just go. We'll go to 27.
Yeah, we can.
Why not? We can, because we don't have our first guest till top of the hour. 6-5. I should say the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line is 646-86. 646-86. Dan, the word of the day. This is from 952 guy. Is delusional. I was at the Wild game last night. If Brock Faber really thinks the Wild were the better team, his face is next to the definition of today's word in Webster's dictionary. The Wild were lucky to even be in the game late in the third period. The team had no energy in the first or second periods. That's from 952 guy. I was there, writes 612 guy. We looked terrible. I was just wondering if you really did watch it. The goalies haven't been bad, but nothing else is working. Like I said, I don't even know what they're capable of at this point. I created a hashtag off of the Lavelle, the link to the Lavelle Wild column via Star Tribune. Hashtag longing for Lemaire. I know it's not going to happen. Louis reminded me he's 80 years old. He's not coming back. He loves the Florida life too much. I get it. I'm just telling you, and I'm not even putting it on our guy, our head coach now. Who is our head coach now?
John Hines.
Oh, it's Hines. That's right. We've had a few, but I guess what I'm longing for is what I think Lemaire represents. And what I liked about Lemaire's coaching style was, well, they don't have that much talent. Might have a little. Might surprise in a couple places, but there's a way we got to play to give ourselves the best chance to at least be competitive. And I don't care what the general manager thinks. I don't care what fans think in terms of, aesthetic style of hockey. We're going to adhere to my principles, the Lemaire principles. And maybe that's rare. Maybe there aren't very many people who are like that who could get that done. And I admit it. That was a long time ago. But what else have we really... I mean, we've had a number of coaches who, over a period of time, you go, oh, this guy looks promising, or this guy looks interesting, or this guy looks like he's got a chance. But I'm reminiscing and I'm waxing nostalgic for Lemaire in large measure because you can really make the argument that since he left, nothing's happened here. In all seriousness, again, I supported, like you did, the Suter Parisi signings, and to that extent,
always will.
Financially, in terms of attendance and, trying to keep the franchise viable, those moves, aggressive moves, probably made sense. But in all honesty, we never went to a conference final in the Suter Parisi era, did we?
We didn't. Went to the second round a couple of times.
Yeah, that's why I keep longing for Lemaire. That's just because I remember then it just felt like something different was going on. That this is a guy who just knows, who evaluates ruthlessly, doesn't care about hurt feelings. Here's who I'm going to play. You want to play, here's how you have to play. And got away with it, despite the fact that I don't think anybody said those early years we were abundant in talent. Were we? We couldn't have been. We were an expansion team, weren't we?
And that might be part of it. It was a team that knew who they were.
Yeah.
It was grinders that knew who they were. And then Gabrick, who was there last night,
right,
in a very interesting sweater, being honored for his contributions to the franchise. It was a group that knew who they were and knew who their strengths were and knew how they had to play to win. And I think this group is searching for that a little bit.
They played for the sweater back then. That's what they did.
They played for the team of 18,000.
Yeah, they did that too.
And they played for the state of hockey.
The state of hockey, that's true.
Yes.
When it was fresh and new. We didn't roll our eyes about that cliche, the state of hockey then. Or even the song.
We love the song.
We loved every bit of it.
Goosebumps,
right?
Yes.
I will say this. I mentioned this the other day. I'm still bitter with Fulmus because he knows my affection for Lemaire. And he had every opportunity to reach out. In fact, I think it would have been a perfect guest for Sunday. It was one of those 2-hour Sunday sermons weeks, I think. I'd have given Lemaire as much time as he wanted. Maybe he wouldn't have wanted any time. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
But we could have, you know what I'm saying? Let's link up for then you at least had an excuse to talk to him. He was in town, right? Part of the celebration of 25 years.
Right.
That's the whole bit.
Yeah.
And did I get a text from him on that?
I don't think he did.
Nothing.
He certainly knows the number. He texts enough. He definitely knows how to make his voice heard when he wants something.
Where's the headline again? I got to look at it just one more time, just to get me going. I don't want to lose any of
this. This is a headline we've also used in the postseason a lot, too, right?
We have.
Over and over again.
We absolutely have.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Wild felt they were better team.
Did you see the game?
Direct quote from Faber. I thought we were the better team. We play that game 10 times over. We have a good chance of winning a lot of those games. It sucks. It stinks. We just got to get back to it and stick with it. It should turn our way at some point. Well, we can.
If you do all those things, yes.
Can you have a banner put up that, for our 4.44 to 2.42 advantage in expected goals in all situations?
It's hard to see the font when you have to make it that small in the banner. But yes, you could.
Are you on the website Natural Stat Trick much? That's who came out. Who has it?
I'm only on it because that's what we've had to hold on to. I have looked at that site before because I've had to reference that site before, or at least confirm that site before. Maybe the first couple of times I read it and said, "What is this site? I need to take a look at this."
It boggles the mind. All right, let's do this. We'll make this the bottom of the hour break. Let me remind you, Glenn Mason will be in studio at 4, and we expect Pat Kessler with all sorts of stories from the West Coast. He tracked Vikings-Chargers. He was in the beautiful people seats for that game and has apparently a lot of memories. I don't know if he had any fights out there, but we'll find out if anybody challenged him to a brawl or he had to keep his composure. He is scheduled to join us in studio at 5:30. Is that correct?
He's coming in. He sent us the list. He's ready to go.
Yeah. We got some texts. 64686. We got a doozy when we come back. I think we may have struck a nerve with at least one member of the hockey community. That's going to be a good place to come back and pick up the pieces. we got to get back to the Darisaw story. I thought Alec Lewis had an interesting piece via The Athletic, making some of the same points that I think we've been making about the Darisaw saga at this point and whether the Vikings have some culpability on a couple of fronts in that regard. We also, did you ever think we'd have to say on this show, we didn't need Minot? We might have to say, we didn't need Minot. Have you heard about what a hero he is already becoming in Boston, Massachusetts?
I've gotten rumblings of it, yeah.
Well, a friend close to the show points out, is it possible that Finchie is the new oppressor? Is it possible Finchie is the new oppressor? So a lot to get to, and we'll try to get to each and every item before we wrap things up at 6:30.
The Fan and two men and a junk truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword cash at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword cash.
Hearing loud and clear from the hockey community, as we often do at a time like this. Let me get to some of the highlights in this segment of the Bumper to Bumper program. You two are an embarrassment to the state of hockey. Stick to your timber puppies and tennis. That's from Gopher Hockey Guy. Stick to your timber puppies and tennis. Okay. We were the better team out there, is diplomatically saying that your goalie let you down. Can't say that. Got to say something because there's reporters asking. You don't have to say that. And I'll say again, this is not a new discussion on this show regarding the use invoking this particular cliche, because it doesn't just apply to hockey. I mean, the probably the most historic example,
I don't want to go down this road,
was one of your favorite games in Vikings history.
Yeah.
The Fumbleia game.
2009 NFC
in which we
Championship
outplayed the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, we did.
Except for the fact that we turned the ball over 9 times.
And they were cheating.
And, well, they were cheating. I'll grant you that. But we are self-inflicted.
Yep.
I don't think the cheating had anything to do with the missed handoff at the end of the first half between Adrian Peterson, who's been making some news lately.
More news.
And number 4, Brett Favre. But
12 men in the huddle. That didn't help.
Yeah, that didn't help. I mean, you could argue that had something to do with Bountygate. We were traumatized, and so who do we ultimately blame? We blame that on a position guy,
Eric Bieniemy,
who I think is in Chicago now with the Bears.
Is he? You would know better than me.
I don't know for sure, but I think that's where he might be at this point.
If we played that NFC Championship game 10 times, how many times would we have been in the Super Bowl?
We would have won it 8 times.
You think so? I think 9.
Well, the better example, I think the honest answer to that one would be 6.5.
Yeah.
The one that's more telling is the 98 NFC title game here. Vikings-Falcons. If you play that game 10 times, I think the Vikings probably win it 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
It's a nice thing to keep thinking about.
But it doesn't,
for sure.
It doesn't placate you in any meaningful way.
It certainly does not.
Dan, what happened to giving the Wild no coverage after your snarky response to fans after the opening night 5-0 win? You're a fraud.
Did you make that vow? I can't remember.
What I said was, in fact, sensitive hockey guy texted then, why are you not talking about the 5-0 victory? And I said, because it's game 1. We've now played, what's our record? How many games have we played now?
Let me pull it up.
Pull up the current standings. Might as well be accurate for a change.
I don't want to be an embarrassment to the hockey community.
No, well, I don't know that we can get out of that.
I'm a hockey dad, too. Think about it.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah. We've certainly played more than one game now, correct? That's the point, is we now have the start of a body of work. It's not complete. season's not over.
Right.
But one game is very different than our current number of games, which is
11.
Okay, so that's
we're 3-5-3.
That's so 11 games in double digits were one. I'm not going to do the math.
No.
1/8 of the season.
Sure.
Let's go with that.
A little bit more.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's all. We've already had a 5-game road trip, and now we're halfway through a 6-game homestand.
We have 9 points.
And we got 9 points.
We're 3 points out of a wild card spot.
We got once again the worst penalty kill ever. Our goal differential is one of the worst. We laid all this out on Monday when we were going through the list of ineptitude from the weekend. So that's fine if you. This was a specific rant having to do with, it really is Pelfrey related. I guess it's a different example. Pelfrey example is you're trying too hard to take responsibility and you can't keep taking responsibility. It's a little like the coach who says it's on me. Just within the last week, PJ went with it and KOC went with it.
Yeah.
And
in our lost October weekend.
It's a dangerous card because if you play it more than once, then same thing happens. People go, wait a minute now. You're the coach. You might be able to get away with that once. This one, we've ranted about for decades regarding the variation of we outplayed them, or we deserve better, or we were the better team. And the ultimate test, as I said, how many times do we hear a team? I used to do it. I was a jackal. After a game, you go into the losing locker room and you find a player who says, we deserve to win that game. We outplayed them. What do? You sprint to the winning locker room and you say, hey, by the way, Joe Dokes, their starting safety, says that they deserve to win the game. They outplayed you. How many times do players say, well, Dokes might have a point? No, that's insulting. We won the game. So it's why it's a waste of time. And I'll say again, you might believe in the benefit of the doubt if it's a consistently winning operation. Then you go, okay, well, it's a cliche, but yeah, they've won a lot, and so maybe they even mean it, and maybe there's even some truth to it. It just rings hollow when you have as many, as I said, unrealized dreams for this franchise, the Minnesota Wild. I mean, we kidded about it. I love history, you know that. 25 years is a good round number. But I'm not sure enough has happened to make that big of a production over the 25 years. You got to have more on the resume, I think.
It's a little tough.
It's a little tough when you have to go down that road, and there's just not a 10 years, right, since round 2.
Correct.
It's round 2. Actually, 272. Math is hard. That can't be right. 27%. We haven't played 27% of the season. That's a quarter of the season. That can't be right. We haven't played that many games. Quarter of the season would mean, how many games did you say we've played?
11.
11 times 4 is 44.
Right. We know that.
So he's playing with us.
This is what I don't like, when people question our math when we've kind of done it right.
Yeah.
And then it makes us sound even dumber for questioning that and having to rethink it. Because once we start rethinking our bad math, that's where we really get in trouble.
Here's the guy who gets it. God bless John the mail carrier. Tired of being the little engine that could freaking win some games. That's it, man. If you really distill the emotion of the average hockey fan right now, that's all they care about.
We've been waiting for this year.
Exactly it. And so that emotion says it all. That doesn't mean there can't be some nuance to it or say, well, I'm seeing some good signs, or I'm seeing some things maybe that have a chance to come together. But you're tired of being the little engine that could. Win some more puck games. Just win a few more. Actually, you need to win a lot more. But, start with a few. Like right now, you got 3 games left in this homestand. Win all 3. I don't know who we're playing. Just win all 3. Just try to get the bad taste out and maybe give people a sense that, all right, we are starting to figure some stuff out.
Got Pittsburgh tomorrow night. Who's this team? Got to look at that logo. The Preds are a week from yesterday. Who is this team?
Well, you're looking that up as the hockey maven that you are, let me...
Canucks on
Vancouver.
Saturday.
Okay. Scott writes out of... this is Lund Scott. Hey, Dr. Dan, I was at the game last night, and I felt like the effort was much better, but I wouldn't say they deserved a win. The biggest problem is they've been very shaky this season. Well, they have been largely shaky, and maybe some of that's injuries. We'll find out. But even that, I mean, I just don't think we pat them on the back for a better effort. I don't know. We'll see. It's hard to say. Tony writes, Dan, as I listen to you battle the hockey community, I'm thinking deeper about how and why it has come to this. I think I understand what you're digging at. It seems like you're just asking for them to view things reasonably. Could be, like the team itself, you need to lower your expectations. Maybe Tony's right. Maybe it's time to stop fighting it.
Like Lavelle said. And I haven't, in fact, he texted us both, because I'll admit, I haven't read the column yet. I read the headline. That was about the Bears staff that he wrote.
Oh, Bienemy. Yeah. Antoine Randall, that would be, of course, Glenn Mason, our 4 o'clock guest, good friend.
He just walked in.
And Al Harris are all on the Bears staff. Close circuit to Laval, in your column, what are you suggesting should be the new expectations of the Minnesota Wild? We're back to play all the kids all of the time because you ain't going anywhere anyway? Because you can make that argument. The problem is whether the GM feels comfortable enough doing that, whether the head coach feels comfortable enough doing that, and whether deep down fans are willing to accept that. It's the same series of questions, frankly, that the Vikings might soon be asking if they're not already. Seifert told us yesterday that, he buys the notion that there's a lot of tension in the whole building right now because they know this effort to sort of thread the needle, young quarterback and keep it together and still be a playoff team thinking of making a run ain't easy. And the early indications are they're not meeting that high standard at all. Let's take a break, get caught up on our schedule. Don't forget, as I said, Mace will join at the top of the hour. We may turn 4 to 5 into Hoosier Hotline today. Stay tuned. Seriousness, how old are you?
43.
You've been a sports fan, would you say, since you were 5?
I'd say 40 years, yeah.
Okay, so 40 years. I've been here. I got here in the late fall of 1986. So that's 14 plus 25, so almost 40 years. Between the two of us, maybe we should compile a list. If we included all of the games, regardless of sport, in which we outplayed the other team but didn't get the victory.
It'd be a lot.
How many would we have? How many banners would we have?
It'd be a Hall of Fame resume.
It never stops. Mace was known for that too, wasn't he? He was big on after the game we outplayed him. We didn't win the game, but we deserved a better fate. He did that a few times.
I'm not sure if you could see his response.
Not happy
to that.
Well, I'm just trying to loosen him up a little bit.
He's ready.
I'm trying to get him worked up.
Oh, he's ready.
He's already worked up?
Mace comes in. You don't have to tell him what time the game starts. Mace is always prepared.
Was there anything that either... Well, I think a lot of the comments from the coach were from yesterday, but Wentz spoke today, correct? Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
So, is there anything that Carson Wentz said today? Because he went right along the party line.
He did.
Right along the company line. I was in on it all along.
Yep.
They didn't force me to do anything. I knew exactly what I was doing, and I wanted to play as long as I could. I was going to milk this as long as I possibly could. So, listening to Wentz, has your opinion, or maybe I should ask myself this, because I don't know if you've been as strident on this as me, tempered at all on the basis of what the player himself said? Because for me, it doesn't change anything.
It doesn't, because that's what I expected him to say.
Exactly.
I expected the player and the competitor, or the warrior, as KOC called him yesterday. I expected the warrior to say that. I don't expect a player to say, yeah, it was a little dicey out there. They probably should have grabbed me. I don't expect the quarterback, especially one who was waiting for an opportunity like this. Of course he's going to say that. Of course he's going to want that, and of course he's going to say that. I think our point, at least, at some point, you do have to make a judgment.
I think so. I am going to be curious to find out what Mace thinks about all this as a former coach. Because he might, coaches tend to stick together, so my guess is he'll feel obligated to defend, That's uncalled for, Mace. That is very uncalled for.
You got both of them now. The last response was just the one hand.
That's just so
now it's the double.
Spirited. I mean, I just don't understand where that rage comes from.
Mace with that lack of class.
I actually don't either. I'm a little gobsmacked by it.
I think that he'll say that tells you what you do to him.
I texted Seifert with this question. Will you answer me this? I should have asked him this yesterday. So we keep being told that he can't do any more damage to it. It's just a matter of pain threshold. On that basis, can anybody explain to me why he's having surgery now? Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, because the comeback was, well, he didn't have as much time to recover between the Sunday game and the Thursday night game. Well, now he would have more to recover, again, as the backup again at this point, because we know McCarthy is going to be the guy who's starting. But if there's no other damage that can be done, and it's just a matter of, no, I just have to deal with the pain, and I'm fine dealing with the pain, why would he have the surgery now? Is there not a possibility that later in the season they might need him again?
That's true. They could need him as soon as Sunday. Yeah.
It's another piece that doesn't add up with the idea that, hey, no, he's fine. It's just a little pain. I mean, it may have looked a little weird, that contraption he wore on his left shoulder that looked like it came out of the medieval times, for God's sake.
Right.
But no one's really been able to explain that to me other than, well, it's just the pain is worse now. Well, but now we've got the extra time off. Why not continue to try to manage the pain? Which is why I don't buy that it hasn't gotten worse, or that it was already bad enough by the second half of that game that he shouldn't have been in the damn lineup. Sorry.
Honestly, the only thing that changed is that now they have an option that they're ready to throw back out there. Right? That's the only thing that's changed. Yes. JJ's healthy, and he's ready to play.
And they're afraid to put your guy out there.
They don't, for not the reason that you would expect.
Right?
They're afraid to put him out there. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the only thing that changed is, if you can gut it out now, we need you to gut it out. And once JJ's back, if you want to have the surgery, go do it. And that's what he's doing.
Did you read the Alec Lewis piece on Darisaw?
I read pretty much everything Alec Lewis writes. Absolutely.
He, I think, raised some of the points that we got into yesterday, but he fleshed it out in much more depth beyond that. And I think he's asking the same question we've been asking. We've had a lot of mixed messages about Darisaw and his availability, and now we're hearing, well, it's always been a 12-month injury. And so, to a certain extent, it's almost like the Vikings are saying we should have seen it coming, how inconsistently he might be available through the first part of the season. And by inconsistent, here's your snap counts. 38, 76, 41, 69, and 9. And he writes, injury designations don't tend to be this much of a puzzle. Questionable, out, questionable, active, questionable. He notes that in the spring, O'Connell consistently praised Darisaw's commitment to the bit. However, until this week, when Darisaw told reporters that the initial recovery timeline was 12 months, meaning he would need until mid to late October, neither he nor the Vikings had offered a definitive timeline for his return. He notes and acknowledges in some ways the lack of clarity is understandable. Health isn't always linear. Teams often treat injury designations as a competitive advantage of sorts, etc. The obtuseness began in week 1. A couple of days before that game, O'Connell said Darisaw had great moments throughout the week, added, I know he's getting really, really close. When the Vikings ruled Darisaw out before week 2 matchup with the Falcons, O'Connell dismissed the idea of any setback, described the dynamic as a very, wait for it, collaborative approach with Christian, myself, and our medical team. He debuts in week 3 against the Bengals. O'Connell celebrating his presence. I think he's now got that last bit of confidence needed. Check that box. And now CD should be in a great position moving forward. Week 4, upward trajectory continues. Snaps increase. That should bode really well for him moving forward, but it didn't. Snaps decreased in the win over the Browns. Bye week allows him to be present for the entirety of the Week 7 game against the Eagles, for better or worse. But then Darrisaw removed himself 9 snaps into the Thursday night debacle in Los Angeles. That's when Darrisaw said short week, tried to give it a go. Body didn't respond how I wanted to. So if that's all true, and that deep down the Vikings have known all along that this is a 12-month prognosis, a 12-month process, then as Alec notes, what about your insurance? Knowing Darrisaw's timetable, the Vikings chose in March to sign Justin School, whom Pro Football Focus has dinged for a league-high 6 sacks as backup depth. Walter Rouse, 2024 fifth-round pick, also has not ascended, and their struggles have complicated the team's desire to put young quarterback J.J. McCarthy in the cushion spot at hope to create this season. To me, what he's saying there is, well, if that's really what you know, then you have to make better insurance a priority. Now, you're not going to get an all-pro backup tackle. We understand that. But if the Vikings all along believed what Darrisaw is now saying to us, didn't they need to have a better plan B until they can comfortably reach the point to say, he's back. He's back every snap that matters, every game the rest of the season. And it's what we talked about. They've done a poor job of managing expectations
messaging
on messaging on, how he's going to be available. Because even the messaging I just quoted seemed to indicate upward path, and it's all clear now. And it clearly has clearly not been the case the way this thing has played out. And so I again think the player has been done a disservice because among fans there's grumbling.
Yeah, what's going on with him?
What's with him? He's how wimpy is that? And he doesn't have to be wimpy at all. This might just be part of the process. It's a significant injury, but because the Vikings didn't give us any warnings on that, even just ideas of, hey, this thing's going to come and go, we don't know if it's going to go straight up in terms of his playing time. It depends on a lot of factors here. I think they would have been better off opening that door without being you don't have to be too negative about it, but I didn't think they did a particularly good job of that. All right, let's do this. We'll prepare for Mace. In fact, if you have questions or comments for him, hit the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. We'll get his view as a former coach regarding decision-making as it pertains to players I shouldn't say never, because Darrisaw wanted out, but, players rarely at the quarterback position are going to leave on their own. They know the time's too valuable. They don't know when they're going to get a chance to get back in there. What responsibility does a coach have? And what factor should the game situation itself be, as took place in Los Angeles, Vikings, Chargers? That and more. We'll preview Gophers, Michigan State. We will review Gophers, Iowa as well. And there might be a couple of Indiana football questions in there, too.